Hey, this is Brett from the FNGoodMusic blog on Instagram, and I'm your new host for the Music That Matters podcast, which is brought to you by the Society of Sound Music Media. I hope you enjoy. This might seem like a bit of a stretch, but I think that you guys could have your own reality show, honestly.
Oh my god,
That'd be great.
That'd be fun. That would be fun.
Oh man,
They
then
would
they would
see
like the
some
craziness of us.
It would be entertaining. We just get really rowdy when it's just us. Like we get rowdy all the time, but when it's like
We
just
read it,
the four of us,
together. She's a fan.
I
wasn't ignoring you guys.
You
It
were
seemed like,
totally
oh my
ignoring
gosh,
us.
so
And you are the knee-highs.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys are really cool. I like your sound a lot, and you guys have a lot of sounds, honestly, and a lot of influences, as I've read a bit. If you guys were to, like, I guess, assign a band or an artist to, like, each of you, who individually influenced you guys, who would you pick?
I would say the Penguins for sure, for like the doo-wop aspect. So I remember hearing Earth Angel and it just like transporting me to this dreamy place that I feel like was one of the first songs that, made me feel that way. And I was like, what is it about this song that creates that feeling? And then kind of figuring that out, how we could incorporate that into our sound.
I guess like the first band that I really took to was the Ramones, because I loved that they kind of sucked in all the best ways, and it just kind of showed me that it doesn't matter who you are or how much you know. Like anybody can just pick up an instrument and anybody can just go, be a shit show on stage. I love that they're really fast, they're really short, so they always kept my attention, and you can only dance. And I just loved the energy of all that. And just like the CBGB days, so everything coming out of there.
I'd probably pick the Alice Cooper group specifically. I just love that they did this whole thing with like a stage persona and created this like, it's kind of spooky villain band is what Alice was saying. How there was no villain rock and rolls, there are only good guys. He's like, there's got to be a villain, and I just love that, like being somebody totally different on stage. Very appealing.
And that's why I definitely want to bring more. So for us, when we finally have more shows, is like theatrics at that level.
Yes.
Oh, like
Guillotines.
pyrotechnics.
Pirate
Fake
ships.
blood, and I want
Blood.
capsules. I like crush them and the blood streaming
I
down.
want a vampire show.
I want what is it in Spinal Tap that they lower down?
Oh my god.
And it's what is that? You know what I'm talking about? Where it's supposed to be like the gigantic statue
I
and
know
it's
what
like
you mean,
tiny. We have to do that.
For me, I would say Hendrix was one of the first artists that influenced me so much and really made me want to pick up a guitar for the first time. And I remember being kind of young and hearing some of his music, which I had never heard. Like growing up, no one in our family ever really like played music around the house. And hearing that music and thinking like, this is something spiritual. Like what is the magic that is baked into this music? What is this? And just being like, I just want to be part of whatever's going on with that.
So all four of you guys, I've noticed, take part in the vocals, right? You guys don't have like a lead singer or anything. So
It's mostly just us three,
And you two more often than me.
yeah, I think more often, but has her beautiful shining moment. And then Ash just does like background howls and background screams
fun
and stuff, so she'll add like little touches in there.
It's like hooting and hollering over
Because we're
there.
like,
Hollering.
like Darlin Darlin, like your main vocals with Devin kind of doing some harmonies, and then like I'm doing like the backup, like, echoes, and then action is more like you singing and you singing like on the same wavelength. I don't know how you describe that. And then me singing like harmonies on that. So
Yeah.
good mix.
Good mix. More to come.
Yeah.
More mixing.
Yeah.
And something that I think is very telling about the music that you've released so far is that you guys are all very good friends, it seems. And right from this interview, you can kind of tell already you guys have very good chemistry.
I was like giving you like a nuggie or like a spit right now.
At the same time, I'm trying to
I
give
was
you a kiss. Yeah, fuck this bitch.
So before you guys were a band, what was your relationship how do you guys know each other? How do you guys meet each other? Tell me
Well,
everything.
I was kind of stuck with this one
Yeah,
for a
not much
couple of years
choice here.
now. Yeah, shared the same womb.
Yeah.
Thought
She
I-
allowed them to keep me.
Yeah.
She's like, we're gonna do a test run on this child. And if I like her, then we can keep her.
No, and I was super fortunate to growing up. Chris is my best friend since day one. And then we met Devin first. And that was a dream come true moment because we had just gotten back from, Kristen and I were living in LA for a couple of years, left this amazing group of friends that we had there and came back to Chicago, older, like didn't really have any friends in the city. And we met at a Lucille Fur's show. And we had like seen each other around, we had like messaged a little bit online. And as soon as we met, we were just like, okay, no, this is for life now. This is exactly the person we've been looking for.
Yeah, I had like just moved to Chicago a year ago too from that, so it was cosmic to meet them. Just what I needed. And then I met Alice. She had a vintage shop and we just kind of got talking. We were going to do some work together and I was like, my birthday party's this weekend, why don't you come to my birthday party? And you know,
It
love
all
at first
come at
sight.
once
Yeah.
You know, that same night.
And then you guys all just were
Fateful
like,
moment.
let's make a band, right? That was kind of.
We were
Not
actually
for a while.
we were friends for like a year.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say like a year.
Like 2 years
Yeah.
and then a year.
And I had been trying to be in a band for like a while. I didn't really know how to play any instruments yet. I just wanted to be in a band. So I was like looking through Craigslist and looking through like bandmates.com, I think it is, and all of these sites, but nothing was working. I was just getting, it was mostly like men and they were being kind of forward with me and I was like, I don't really know. I kind of just want to be in a girl band.
Yeah,
feel like
Craigslist
that'd
is
just be
not
more
the
fun.
best place to look for bandmates.
I was
wouldn't-
so desperate. I knew what I wanted, so I just wanted to make it work. And then I saw Dev picking up a bass. So then we were like, let's be a band.
Yeah, we
So-
had joked about it for so long. We were like, we're gonna start a band. We're gonna
We
start a
did,
band.
yeah.
And then we were like, why don't we just start a band? Like,
So-
we're both trying to learn. So
Exactly. So that's what we did. And then we like came up with names and stuff and picked one out. And it was only like a couple practices, maybe 2 or 3, and maybe it was like 2 months in, not even, that we were looking for a drummer. We're like, okay, we need a drummer now. And that's when Chris contacted you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
put it on my story because I was like, I don't know who drums.
Looking for
so-
drummers in Chicago.
Yeah, and Chris responded.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I was like,
I'm
I'm a drummer.
drumming. Yeah. And Chris was like, Ash also is a guitar player, so we'd love to do
And at
it.
this point, I'd only like drummed in like middle school for a little bit, and then my drum teacher moved away. So I like always wanted to play the drums again, but just never had the opportunity or like never thought to do it until that exact moment. And I was like, well, I haven't played the drums since 7th grade. I don't have a drum set right now, but I have some
But I'm a drummer.
fundamentals.
You didn't
I'm
have
a
a drum
drummer,
set at the
yeah.
beginning.
I was like, Dev like didn't know I didn't have a drum set when I said I was
A drummer.
a drummer.
It was fine
And-
though. We had one at our house.
Yeah, and so she's like, well, we're learning these songs, like, come to practice next week. And so I just like air drummed them and like practiced in my mind, basically.
It worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
worked enough.
it was okay because none of us knew how to play anything anyways.
Yeah.
So our
Yeah.
practices were
So I
pretty
feel
rough.
I came in at the same level of being beginners.
Yeah,
It was
that was
like,
really nice.
it's gonna be rough for a bit, but we're all gonna be learning together.
I always tell people that the day we became musicians was the day we formed a band because that's basically what happened.
Yeah. And then we played the show at Hearts.
Yeah.
2 weeks
We
in.
did.
Yeah, we've only practiced twice. Let's go up in front of a loaded bar of people and play a couple
It was
songs.
loaded.
It was
terrifying.
totally loaded.
That was actually one of the biggest shows we had, I think.
Because we only had a couple, right? Yeah.
That place is always packed.
It was packed and oh
We
man.
only
I
had
didn't
so
think it was
like-
gonna be for some reason though. I don't know why I
I-
thought that.
That's why I said yes.
Probably to calm my
I was
nerves.
like, there won't be anyone
We said
there.
yes because it was a friend's set, this like tiny local like dive bar
We played one song.
that they're like, you guys can come up and play after our set. We're like,
Just like one song, and we're like,
yeah,
we only know
we
one
picked
song.
up. We picked
Yeah.
up yeah. Yeah,
So that's great.
after funny because afterwards everyone's like clapping and cheering us on. Also because we like probably went around and told everybody how scared we were to get up there. Everyone is so
City
supportive.
claps.
But then everyone's like, one more song, and we're all are like, we gotta get off. We don't know anymore. We gotta
We
go.
only have one.
Well, for the 2 songs you guys have so far, and before I even go on the songs, I just want to say you guys have probably one of the best branding. I'm not going to call it a campaign, but you guys have like incredible branding. I mean, you have 2 songs,
Thank you.
and I mean, like you guys are like marketing whizzes, honestly. I know, I know that Dev has a really big TikTok and pretty big Instagram presence, and so I imagine that that has contributed a bit to your recognition and exposure. But you know, like just from following you guys with 2 songs, I mean, it's very entertaining. I don't know what else to say. You guys have like great personalities, and I think it's come straight out in this interview that you're very personable people, and you guys all get along with each other. And so yeah, I just have to applaud you on all of your success, I guess, so far.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you
But
so much. And
I
I'm glad
do
you
have
like our
I do have to
branding.
ask though, you know, like so I'm saying a skeptic. I'm kind of talking about my skepticism, but I don't want to come out and say that I have skepticism because I do really enjoy your music. But a skeptic might say that, you know, you guys have these 2 songs, and I mean, I don't know if more work is going on. I assume that you guys are still writing more music and looking to record an album and whatnot. But you guys have these 2 songs, and you've done like almost over marketing to the point where, like, you know, it's like, all right, is there more music coming out, or is this just like music video after music video, art project after art project? You know, like, is there more music coming? Is this the real deal? You know, what's going on?
More music,
Next week,
more,
bitch.
more music than we can handle.
Yeah. So that's actually a good opportunity to share with you. We leave tomorrow. Right? Yeah, we can share about this. It's not a secret anymore. This will be our debut being able to share.
Let's see the name of it,
fly to Atlanta.
Name of the song. We should say the name.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, to debut our newest song that we'll be releasing over the summer, but it's gonna be played on Now Dig This, a TV show that's filmed at People TV in Atlanta. And you want to say the song?
Make You Mine.
Make You Mine. And it's like totally different from our other 2 songs, so just get ready to have whatever you thought about us, turn it on its head.
Well, there's not really, it's hard to think, you know, like much, because you have Darlin Darlin, which is like totally a doo-wop song with like, you know, some dream pop influence, which I really love. And then you have Action, which is kind of like this glam rock type of song. And so, I mean, this 3rd song, you're saying it's completely different. I have no idea where it's going to go. So
Yeah, it's not glam rock, it's not doo-wop, so
Yeah.
I can tell you what it's about.
Yeah, I feel like it's cool to tell a little bit about the meaning behind it.
It's kind of all of my bad experiences with men who have been shitty or aggressive or whatever you want to call it. I just put it all into a song, but I was sick and tired of hearing about women being victims. So I was like, nah, screw that. The man's gonna be the victim. I'm just gonna take all of this stuff that happened to me and I'm gonna put it on like this is the guy, I guess
The bad guy.
the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do that. So it's kind of like, I guess like Blondie vibes of one way or another, like just a aggressive, obsessive woman trying to hold on to like this man who doesn't want her kind of thing, and just exactly
Totally
that.
delusional.
Totally delusional.
Yeah.
So doesn't know what no is and all that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, I feel like this is a good time to share also that that song is going to be released actually as part of our first EP. So we're planning on releasing that probably like late July.
Summer?
Yeah.
In the summer.
In the
Yeah.
summer.
Can you share how many songs are going to be on this EP? Like, you know, what's
It'll be about
the vibe? You know,
5, yeah.
5. Yeah.
5
But
songs.
Darlin Darlin Action will be 5.
So
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like 3 new songs.
Darlin Darlin and 3 new songs. Once again, also
Make You Mine, which we already said. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris, did you do the work for the album on it?
Yes,
do the
yeah.
artwork? Yeah.
The
So-
graphic design.
That's very cool, because I know that you're quite the artist along with the drummer.
Definitely.
So
This
if you
is
had if these girls hadn't approached you asking for a drummer, what do you think you'd be doing?
That's a really good question. I definitely wanted to play the drums again at some point, so I feel like I would have found my way back to the drums, but probably not as soon as when the band started. Definitely making art in as many other forms as possible, and probably doing more like folk music, just like writing my own stuff, like just to sing to myself, not necessarily to release into the world.
Are you guys looking to like really make this your full-time life? Is that what you want out of
I want
the
to.
Knee Highs? Yeah.
If the Knee Highs disband, which they aren't, because
Never.
But if they are, I'm definitely just gonna jump on a band. Like I think I need to do this now for the rest of my life.
Yeah, for sure.
definitely. Yeah, I think we'll always be doing this, and like we also all have our own careers aside from this. So it's like is what we always dreamed of. Like we always wanted to have like the careers that we currently have.
I know this is gonna be my.
I mean,
career.
I'm speaking for myself, and
Yeah, I like my
I
career
can speak
too.
on behalf of you because I know your dreams. But just like our daytime career, and then our nighttime being the band.
Yeah.
And so my next question is for Devin. So I was reading an article, and this might be a bit of a tough question, so feel free to answer it however you want. But it was in Moof magazine. I don't know. But the person who wrote it compared you to a reincarnated Sable Starr or Pamela DeBar. And that, I mean, what was that about?
I admire groupies for what they did for like feminism and being able to go out and, you know, liberate women's sexuality and their bodies and just pushing their way into the rock world, because I feel like it still is kind of, you know, it's not quite where women are equal, and definitely back then. So I feel like their roles were very, very important. I don't know if I would call myself like the same, but I love Pamela. I've worked with Pamela in the past, and I actually interviewed her for my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, which was really fun. So I talk to her sometimes. She's great, and yeah, she's a good time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was gonna say Pamela DeBar is at least, you know, she is an accomplished writer. You know, she's like a groupie turned writer. I guess it was more of the Sable Starr comparison where I was kind of like, that's a little bit cheap, I think. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Sable, honestly, but I like her fashion. I can say that.
Yeah, well,
So.
and you've been, I mean, pretty big with fashion on TikTok, and you know, like I see all your makeup videos and stuff like that. What's that like?
It's a lot of fun. I just have fun with it. I never really expected anybody to pay attention to anything, so I'm just having a good time with it.
And did you get viral like right away? I mean, I don't. Are you even are you considered viral?
I don't know what what qualifies that, but I've had like an Instagram that I loved like making kind of stylized posts for about 10 years now. I started when I was 15, and that's kind of how I found like a subculture of people who are interested in the 60s and 70s too, was through Instagram. And that's actually how I've met like a lot of my friends, and I totally accredit my entire life to that, because if I wouldn't have started doing that, I wouldn't have met all these people who have led me to where I am today. So it's kind of amazing.
No, and I've seen a lot of I follow also a lot of accounts that really kind of capture the aesthetic of the 60s and the 70s and kind of hippie culture and whatnot. So I thought that it was really awesome that, you know, along with the knee highs, you also have this kind of side career in like fashion design and everything like that. Is that something that you think if you weren't in the knee highs you'd be doing?
Oh, for sure. That started before the knee highs, so I would still be doing that. I kind of always hoped to be doing a little bit of it. I would definitely like to focus more of my attention on music and have the fashion stuff kind of be like a side thing. Keep it more like, I don't know, not the necessary way to make payments.
Maybe if we keep growing, you can just start styling other bands.
Yeah, that would be my ultimate goal.
I just because I feel like that would totally suit you so perfectly.
Yeah, I would definitely love to be doing more bands.
And so Ashley, I guess my final individual question. I saw that you seem to have a passion for Chicago.
Yeah, the passion behind that too is really kind of sustainability, and that position allows me to really be connected within the Chicagoland area and everyone that's also working towards the global goals. So that ranges, there's 17 goals that were set by the United Nations, and since I was pretty young, that was like one of my biggest passions, has been really trying to figure out what we can do in our lifetimes as individuals, as communities, to really make the world a better place. And that can be from the smallest actions within your own life, within your own household, or that can be building kind of networks and working on the community or on the city side. And that's also kind of exciting and fun for me, because my life, I grew up, like my sister and I grew up working with our family business, and I worked from a young age, like in technology and a lot of my world was kind of very corporate, and I love that stuff, and I'm so passionate about it, and I get still so excited about that. But I wasn't sure if I would ever get to kind of reconcile these two sides that I had of loving music and having such a passion for these eras and for self-expression and like the feeling of getting on a stage and connecting with people on that. And I kind of felt, you know, after like being in my final years of college, starting to work more, I kind of thought, you know, like I missed my chance, you know, I never learned how to play guitar, you know, I missed that. And now getting to have the best of both worlds, and these women helped inspire me so much, and I was able to face so many of my fears through this band too. Like there was one day within the first month of us starting, Chris, that's Bowie, he's our mascot.
It's my dog.
Chris and I were asked. he loves Dove, especially.
I love Bowie.
I just want to read
Michelle's a little
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll guard you from him.
But so Chris and I were asked to speak on a panel at Illinois Math and Science Academy, and I have a huge fear of public speaking. So normally an event like that, I would freak out about like for months leading up to it. But it's funny enough because that same day we were booked for our first like biggest show that same night of the event. And so somehow I didn't even have time to like stress or freak out over the panel because I was more thinking about I just have to get through this to get to the band, like our first performance.
I was way more scared for the panel.
And so then once I finished the panel too, I was like, whoa, we just finished talking in front of this whole group of people about emerging technology. Now I just get to go like rock on stage with my best friends, and they like canceled each other out. And yeah, I've like grown so much through being part of the band. I wish everyone could just have this experience and have people around them. Like no matter if anyone ever listens to anything you create, or if no one ever like cares about it, you know, just having that experience of having a community where you feel supported and safe and that you can create and do what you're passionate about.
And it's like a sanctuary. Like just every week going to practice is my favorite day of the week. Just getting to be around you guys, and just it's so amazing that we do have that like friendship as a baseline before ever being in a band. You just like understand each other already.
And how does practicing go with you guys? Do you guys get mad at each other? Do you fight a lot?
Furious. Fist fights.
Yeah, we duke it out to solve our problems.
I just got over a black eye a couple days ago because this just started plowing me because I wasn't playing the right song at the same time. Wrong chord.
No,
Nasty.
We're all very like mellow tempered, so
yeah, we don't really fight at all.
No.
Apparently I'm a little fiery, but I'm trying
She's
to work
fiery.
on it.
In a good way.
Yeah.
We like the fire.
love it.
Keep it blazing.
This might seem like a bit of a stretch, but I think that you guys could have your own reality show, honestly.
Oh my god.
That'd be great.
That'd be fun.
That would be
Oh
fun.
man,
Just
then
like
they would
They would
see like
see
the
some
craziness of us.
crazy- Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be entertaining.
We just get really rowdy when it's just us. Like we get rowdy all the time, but when it's like
We
just
read
the four
it
of us-
together.
Yeah. She's a fan.
I wasn't ignoring you guys.
It
were
seemed like,
totally
oh my
ignoring
gosh,
us.
so embarrassed.
We were DJing. We actually got hired as DJs for the first time this last what is it,
Saturday?
weekend?
Yeah.
Day is today. Yeah, Saturday. I'm like,
I don't know what day it
Or
is.
tell the story about the dev me that.
oh my god, yeah. So okay, so we just got done DJing. We're all like, yes, okay, like let's figure out where we're going next. We all get like we three get into the car, and we see like that Ash is over talking to some of our friends on the patio. We're like, we gotta get her over here. We
We need a video. We were trying to take a video.
Take a video. And we're just like screaming to her from
In
across
Chicago.
the street, like packed into Dev's bug. Ash!
Well, Deb was like, Ashley.
yeah,
Ashley.
Dev's screaming, yeah.
And then I'm like, Deb, you can't do it like that.
Ash! like so
Like,
guttural. They're like heads hanging out the window.
I had other people come over and like tap me and be like pointing over there.
And we're like, she's ignoring us. She can't, there's no way she can't hear us. We're screaming. And she had this fan, you know, it's like 80 degrees out. And we're like, she's like got it in front of her face. Like she's totally embarrassed. She's hiding from us.
like a hand fan.
Yeah, like it's just like covering her face fully. We're like,
they sent me a photo later of that scene with me highlighted circle, and you see a whole crowd of people all turned looking straight at them, and me just with my fan up, but like blocking your face from us, hiding. I don't know these people. Yeah. I'm not associated with them. When I have conversations with people, I like lock in so intensely, so that like to me nothing else exists besides that person that's in front of me. So I was just deeply in my own world, and I felt so bad. Like you guys left us ignoring you. It was hilarious. I would have do it. I don't know these fools. They'll go away.
Yeah. And then she whipped out a freaking hamburger bun. She goes to me, "You want a hamburger bun?"
Out of her purse. There was no hamburger in it. It was just
just the bun.
You never know when you're getting a hamburger bun.
You're like, I don't know, I might get a veggie burger.
Yeah, like
just from the universe, just like drops in your lap.
Yeah. Without a bun.
Perfect.
By the grace of the universe,
we're prepared.
Still in my car.
Yeah. So we have fun.
We just really entertain ourselves. That's it. Yeah.
I get that impression. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else would like the show. That's the thing. It would only be funny for us.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We want everyone to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's welcome, but I don't know if you're gonna understand.
Yeah. That is something that we're so excited for shows, because we love being around people, and like we love being able to share this energy of just like making everyone feel like they're the life of the party, that every person that we're with is equally the life of the party. And most people I feel like that have hung out with us will agree to that. And we miss shows that we can like share that connection with more people. We've been like fortunate in the way of still being able to have very small tastes of that with like virtual shows and stuff, but we're really excited for live shows when we get to actually like hang out with other people.
Definitely.
And yeah,
That's really cool that you guys have like all this in common and you guys get along so well. I mean, it almost seems like too perfect.
Yeah. We were literally like, we send each other like voice messages instead of texting, because we always just voice message. Yeah, it's funny because we all have different schedules, so it's not like we can just like get on a call. So we send these like 3-minute long voice messages, just like is this real?
Yeah,
yeah, we do.
We're like,
I'm like, what we're experiencing is just what I always thought of like my dream life. Pinching,
yeah.
So cherishing it a lot.
Well, how did the pandemic impact this dream life? Because I'm sure you had a lot of hopes and dreams going into 2020, and you kind of just got paused for a little while.
Yeah, it kind of helped us honestly, because before
it was sad
the
at first
pandemic,
to like not be able to play shows.
Yeah, at first obviously we had things lined up, but they had to be canceled because of the pandemic. But when we were playing these shows, we didn't have any originals yet. So as soon as the pandemic hit, all these originals started pouring out, and now we have like 12 songs of originals lined up. Like I know we talked about an EP, but we already have songs like written down and ready to start working on for the album. So it's really just finding the time.
Yeah, it just takes us time because we're like
the
new
music.
musicians, you know.
So we have to, like,
No, for sure, yeah. What music are you guys listening to these days? Anything new individually or as a group? Do you guys listen to music together? Do you like discover stuff together, or are you very on your own paths?
Michelle likes to make us CDs. She actually just made us CDs today and brought them.
Why not just the Spotify? Why not just Spotify? You have to make it.
Yeah, right.
No, because the songs are on Spotify.
Oh wow.
So I just made I made all of them a CD. I actually just brought them over. This one said, oops,
so sweet.
Sorry, Deb. This one says, slap at the bass.
Nice.
And we got a song list here. So
yeah, she prints these out for us too.
It's a lot of work. I mean,
it is.
There's technology. Come on.
I love making. We got Vibrators, Rosillos, Scientists on here, the Tights, Nancy, the Clash, the Jags, the Briefs, the Zips, Forgotten Rebels, the Equals, Too Much, the Applejacks, the Reactions, Those Darlins, Fist, Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, Richard Hell. Yeah, so just
A lot of 70s punk.
yeah. I'm like number one. My number one genre is punk. So
Yeah, me too. Actually, well, if I may recommend a band, I just have one band recommendation, and I push this on everybody. I push the Replacements on every single person I ever meet.
I love the
That's
Replacements.
awesome.
So
Yeah. Well, whenever I have a band that I feel like not a lot of people know about, I like to just completely shove them down their throats until
As you
gotta.
should. That's why I make CDs for people, because then I feel like they feel obligated to listen to them, because I put all this time into making this like specialized CD for them. Like their CDs are all different from each other.
They're personalized.
They're all personalized.
Oh,
So it's like if you don't, then it's kind of rude. So it's the best way to shove it down someone's throat.
And she's gonna ask you about it.
I do.
She'll say, what number did you like?
Yes.
Not just did you like it. You better listen to it, and you better listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Ashes has a lot of reggae on hers right now.
Yeah.
Hers is very reggae specific. Hers I made very punk, and hers is like a mix. A lot of punk, but there's also just like some good rock and roll songs on hers. More just like really good bass on her CD.
I like that you personalize it for each member. That's really nice of you.
Yeah,
I like to do the same thing, but yeah, it's good to see that other people like to just completely recommend people music and have no regard for their consideration.
I want them to like it,
Yeah.
and so I really
It's very
try
thoughtful.
to go off of like what I
Yeah.
know they like, because I don't want them to like not like it. Then they're not gonna want CDs from me.
Yeah, no, you have
I
to
like
keep your
making
reputation.
She's
Yeah.
great at it.
You are great.
Maybe
Loved
one day they'll
everyone so
switch
far.
their CDs with each other.
We've talked about that.
Yeah, swap it out.
Do you guys think that you have like a band or an album that you would want to recommend to people that you feel like more people just need to know about?
Ooh,
That's
I have a
good
couple.
question.
I'd say Frankie and the Witch
I was gonna
Fingers.
say Frankie and the Witch Fingers,
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Probably their newest album,
Yeah.
or Zam.
Sam.
There's the newer one than that.
But I'd say Zam would be my
People
first.
eating monsters eating people is the newer one.
Yeah. I would still say start with Zam.
Or
but
no,
they're
it's
all good.
monsters eating people eating monsters. The
Yeah.
monsters are doing more of the eating.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
But so check them out.
I'll go with Posey Hollow Quartet, which is
Good call,
by
yeah.
Abley House, which is also my fiance's band. So,
Such
but
a
it's
good-
amazing. You have to
it's
listen
so
to it
good.
all
It's
the way
really
through
good,
yeah.
and track list in order because they have like transition tracks. It reminds me a little bit of like Love It to Death by Alice Cooper.
So what's that like being engaged to a musician? Is that a lot of fun?
It's the absolute best. I just love having people that share the same interests as me. And even before I started playing music myself, I knew that I wanted to be with the musician just because I'm so passionate about music. I want to be around it all the time. And I knew if I was just with somebody who was like, you know, I like music or I listen to the radio sometimes, it was not really going to work out because I'm a little obsessive about it. So
Well, you better make sure that he doesn't steal any of your music, because
yeah,
I see it.
Right.
I think that's really important for artists, honestly, to be, especially these days with, you know, having your own Instagram account and everything, you know, being really transparent with fans and not trying to put up a facade of something, because like, you know, what happens if you guys pretend that you're like these like world-class musicians who get everything perfectly,
Like,
and then you
no
get
one
up on
would- no one
stage,
would
you
believe it
know?
won.
So no one would believe it won.
Like I can't a lot.
Yeah,
really
lie.
bad. a lot.
Yeah.
We made it a point, like in our Instagram, that we wanted to very much like have our personalities out there. And since the beginning, when we started, before we really even knew how to play, that's what we told everyone. We don't know how to play. We don't know what we're doing. We're just starting here. We don't have any music. We don't have any plans for music yet, just that we want to at some point. And whoever was following us was like all part of that, you know, the whole learning process, all of the, you know, attempts and the fails and the succeeding and everything. So I feel like that's maybe why people can connect, because we're just being really real about everything going on with us.
Definitely.
I feel like people want to get to know people, especially artists who they admire and admire their work, because art is so like deep. It tells you like a little bit about that person's soul. So getting to actually know that person further too, I feel like is getting really important.
Yeah, and I've seen that a lot. And actually, this is a question that's come up a bit. Is you know, with all of this going on, do you think that while it's great to, you know, see the artist in like however much capacity they want you to see them in, do you think that it takes away from kind of the mystique of an artist, and that, you know, like with certain artists who existed before the internet, you know, they were so mysterious and they had all of these things that people would like fantasize about them, and, you know, these legends that, you know, were probably mostly inaccurate because people at the end of the day are fairly uninteresting, you know, when it really comes down to their everyday life. So like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
what do you
think
think about that?
I think it depends on like how you as an observer choose to view art, because every art every like piece of art that exists has a creator, and you can observe the art just as the art that was created and choose not to like look behind it and learn about who created it, and that's totally fine. But I kind of see that like with the band is like you could just listen to music and never like read any of our interviews or like watch our like live streams where we like answer questions, and just observe it as what you want and then have as much mystery as you want. But I feel like it just depends on if you want to get to know us, then you can find out.
I also feel like even though
more
we're
about us.
pretty transparent, no one's really gonna know like the real
All of
us.
you,
yeah. Right.
Unless we're like meeting this person
Face
in
to
person,
face,
face to
Totally.
face.
Yeah, like
you
a
can
lot.
never really know somebody through the internet. So we try to be very like ourselves and everything, but I don't feel like anyone will really be able to capture me exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like close.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like part of that with like the mystique around old rock stars, I feel like people are kind of getting over that too, because so many things are coming out that aren't quite good things about those old rock stars, and I feel like people are really valuing more people's like moral standing and who they are as a person as well, and that plays into like whether they're gonna really respect that artist or not. So
And how do you think, how does that change your personal perception of these artists? I mean, you don't have to name specific artists, but does, like, I mean, I'll say that, Robert Plant had sex with a lot of underage girls that were probably 14 years old even. How does that change your perception of like Led Zeppelin? Do you listen to Led Zeppelin anymore?
I kind of have a major distaste for Led Zeppelin, to be like very specific, honestly. Like Led Zeppelin's one of the ones where I never really was a super big like Led Zeppelin fan, but now even when I hear it, I just kind of think of that every single time, and it does taint it. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'm glad to know it, I guess, because I don't want to, and it's important not to put these people on pedestals and to realize that they are just, everyday regular Joes. They're not like these rock gods necessarily
Right.
that are,
Especially when
they
they're
do no
doing these
wrong.
terrible things.
Yeah.
Right, which is important to know. So
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
God for the Paul McCartneys of the world,
I know, what a little sweetheart. I think it's good in a lot of ways, and it's bad for the bad people, which
Yeah,
it
works out if
yeah,
you're
that's justice.
genuine.
That's karma.
Yeah, it is karma.
I feel like holding people accountable is very important. So
I agree. And I think now people really have more wherewithal to hold themselves accountable also, like with knowing that they can't just get away with anything because they're a rock star or a celebrity or whatever, or rich and famous, whatever, whatever the thing is.
right, because at a certain point, so many of those people think that equates getting to do whatever you want and getting away with whatever you want, and that's just not the way it is anymore. So no, thank goodness.
I'm a nanny, so I'm all about consequences to people's actions.
Okay.
I'm taking your toy away because you did something bad, and this is a consequence of doing something bad.
Just life lessons from Alice.
I've actually stolen things from people that did really terrible things, and it was like, we got Robin Hood over here. Okay. It's okay because I don't think this person is going to watch this, but this one of my friend's dads offered me $10,000 to sleep with him, so I stole his iPad because it was 2 days into turning 18, and that's what he asked me. So I stole his iPad. I have never been able to use it because I'm locked out of it, but it was like one of those things where I was like, fuck you, I'm gonna steal your iPad with all your stuff on it.
Yeah, you perv.
This is what you deserve. Like, I don't want to do, so young. So that's just like the power I felt. I was like, this is all I feel like I can do right now. And it's just steal your iPad.
I back
know
that
this
decision.
is like $1,000. So it's not like I'm stealing because somebody was like rude to me. I'm not like a klepto here.
It's good that you clarified the second part.
Yeah.
Like true justice.
That's very warranted. He can buy another iPad. Like that's trauma.
I think you should have stolen some more stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
We'll
go
look to his house.
Steal something that you can like do something with, like some jewelry, something that you can unlock.
So it still felt like powerful to me, like I don't steal stuff, and it's still like expensive. Like iPads are expensive. It was like the newer one, so I had to spend like $1,000 at least. So it just like felt good, but yeah, maybe it didn't really matter. Maybe he just got another one. Maybe he didn't even care. Maybe he didn't even realize it was gone. Whatever. But in my eyes, I was like taking something from him that he had no say in, which I feel like he was doing to me. And I was like, I have power, and this I know I'm stolen. I felt
Power to
powerful.
the iPad.
Yeah.
Power to the
Power's in bad.
Yeah, well, I think that I think if you steal something and you feel good about it, you're either a psychopath or you did it for the right reasons, and I think you did it for the latter. So
Yeah,
I like that.
God, he's calling me a psychopath. Blondie. She's still doing stuff.
Blondie, Blondie for sure.
She's still going at it.
George, both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we do Blondie.
Blondie, Joan
Joan
Jett,
Jett.
and
That's hard.
Yoji.
That'd be pretty good.
It's a fun show.
I'd go.
Yeah. Honorable mentions for
Honorable mention for Joshy Soul.
Joshy
Soul and Frank Ocean.
Frankie
Yeah.
the Singers. We've seen
For
them at
good show.
festivals.
Yeah.
And
Not a
Lemon
good
Twigs.
show. Yeah, Lemon Twigs.
Honorable
Yeah.
mentions.
I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble if I say Stones,
Pardon
but
me, what?
at the moment,
Speak your truth.
I'm sorry for the moment as of this week, Stones for listening to.
Live Aid.
Woodstock.
I think
Woodstock.
Woodstock.
Jazz.
Wait.
Classical, probably.
Classical. No. Oh, I don't like this one. This is like giving me a huge.
I just
Classical,
love-
like Beethoven?
I'm thinking like organ.
Yeah, like-
that's
thinking
my
like-
classical.
I'm
That's
thinking like
actually-
bam, basically.
Yeah.
Da.
Those are actually two of the genres that I probably listen to the most is actually classical and jazz.
Really?
And-
Gotta take one. You
Yeah,
gotta just
Yeah.
that was like one of my most cherished vinyls is like a 6.
They're both gonna
a 6
disappear from the world
vinyl.
right now. They'll never
No,
exist.
no.
They're gonna fall
You
off
only
every music,
get
all the
on
music in the
one
world.
boat.
Hurry, they're going.
No,
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Gone.
there's
Take
a
it.
classical
Take
boat.
She lost them both. They're
I'm
both
dead.
dead.
I'll jump off the ship at this point.
Okay, we can't make her pick. So.
Yeah.
Well, it was great to have you guys on. Thank you so much for
This was so much fun.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
glad.
thank you.
It's great chatting with you.
Great chatting with you guys.
Yeah, you gotta come out to Chicago again.
Yeah, well, you got to come out to New York, honestly. Chicago.
Yeah, I'm down to go to New York,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, give us a reason.
Yeah. Rats in the city. In the city. Rats in the city.
I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.